we have Kirsten Sheridan, and Kirsten is a writer-director. She's co-founder of The Factory, which is this production facility, really exciting initiative, and also their actor studio, where they're teaching young actors how to act for screen, because that was the thing that held actors back for a long time, as being in theatre. So it's all this kind of really exciting stuff.
The Factory is a collective of filmmakers that we basically found this building about 3 years ago, and since then it's kind of become a bit more of a hub for actors. So we have an actor studio, and we decided to run a year-long programme for screen acting, which runs from September to May every year. The biggest challenges for Irish filmmakers at the moment is finding an audience, and I think that kind of starts from the small screen, that to have more drama on Irish TV would be a great starting point, I think, and that's something I think that really needs to be looked at quite carefully, and then that would kind of have a trickle-down effect whereby people would want to see themselves on the big screen, like other European countries. If people are starting off in film, I think that it is a kind of a good time in some ways, because there's digital things, you can pick up a camera, you can make a feature film. Obviously, you need a great script and you need actors and all the rest of it, but I think it's kind of a little bit more accessible than it used to be for people. But it requires an incredible amount of self-motivation and self-discipline. And you do see kind of people just coming out of nowhere and doing that, and I think that's a really great sign for actors and for writers and directors.
Katie Holly is a producer, and she's made a number of low-budget features, which would be 1 to 3 million euros. And she's now in Los Angeles negotiating deals, and that's really exciting. And she's a young woman. She's been doing it for about 10, 15 years.
In terms of the challenges for women in filmmaking, I suppose personally I never really felt that I had a big challenge to kind of enter the industry. I guess I was very lucky in that going from college, I managed to get a job straight out of college with a production company, worked my way up as an assistant, admittedly there first of all, and then after about 4 years set up my own company. I do think though that, for producers it's probably the easiest route in, and there's a lot, there's quite, I would say, parity between women and men in the producing field. It's definitely a lot harder, or you see a lot less women in the roles of directing and writing, and I don't really know why that is. I'm not sure if partly it's to do with maybe women not putting themselves forward as much. It would be interesting to find out about numbers of applications to film school for women versus men, and I think that we should be trying to note that stuff, and at least that will allow us to have the information to see what can be done to try and address that. I think that I probably am not so great at striking the balance, but I'm getting better at it. And I think part of that is, as you get more experienced in your work, you can deal with things in a maybe more efficient manner. I'm also becoming much better at delegating. The one, I think, big issue for me is that I travel a huge amount, but I enjoy it hugely. And, also I think that in a job that you love, a job like film, a lot of the people that you meet through work are also end up becoming friends. So when you're traveling to festivals, it's also very social. So, there's that aspect of things too.